DorK back again. Today we've got DorKcast episode number 8. I'm calling it Show and Tell. Show obviously is visualizations and tell is NLG. Now, you might think this is goofy, but I got to tell you, yesterday I thought that NLG was one of the divisions in football, like the AFC, where I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio, and NLG was the other conference. But I slept at a Holiday Inn Express last night, and I've discovered that NLG actually stands for Natural Language Generation, i.e. the tell. I've got a very special guest with me today. His name is Mohammed Yaseen. He's the Director of Sales Engineering at ARRIA, ARRIA NLG. Hey, Mohammed, you probably already knew that NLG was Natural Language Generation, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. This is Mohammed Yaseen, and quite familiar with the NLG. I am currently working at ARRIA in the past 3 years as a director of sales engineering and providing the NLG solution to our customers by using Qlik.
Very cool, man. So between the two of us, we should have a really intelligent conversation, because I stayed at Holiday Inn Express, and you've actually done this for a living and worked with customers. Well, I'm so glad you're here today, because I've actually run into a situation where I'm trying to do something for some users and I'm kind of stuck, man. Can you help me out?
Absolutely.
All right, let me show you what I got here. So I was looking through this data. We've got SAP accelerators for orders to cash. And one of the users was like, can you show me the number of sales items by country and show it to me across years? So I was like, sure, I can. Look at my pretty bar chart. And I told my users that they can filter to any years that they want, and the data changes in the chart. And I'm also, you can see here, because I stayed at Holiday Inn Express last night, I've already figured out how to use your tool. And I put ARRIA's Articulate extension in the app, and as I make my changes, it updates the narrative, which I thought was awesome. My customers should have been wowed, shouldn't they, Mohammed?
That's pretty cool. And would you like to explain how does it work, Dalton?
Yeah, it was pretty easy. All I really did was I edited my sheet and I added the extension, and I'm going to have to do that again in a second, but I'm going to need your help. But I gave it to them, and they were like, but Dalton, I need to see the volume, the number of sales by year too, not just the years. I was like, oh God, because customers are usually whiny like this. And so I showed it to them, the same bar chart by country, and then I gave them one by year, and I gave them another extension that showed the data. And it was like, oh, but we need to be able to see it by country and year. And I was like, but you can. I could filter to the countries. And like everything in Qlik, it was responsive. And now I see the sales for those countries by year. And your extension updated just fine too. Or they could pick by year here, and they could see the same thing. And believe it or not, they were not impressed. They started whining to me that they wanted to see it together. I'm like, but I'm showing it to you together. And they're like, no. I need to see a trend for each country for each year. And I was like, oh, okay, not a problem. I'll show you our grid plot, and I'm showing number of sales by country, by year, and they can scroll and see everything for the trend. And you won't believe what they told me, Mohammed. They said they couldn't understand the insights that were right there in front of their face. Can you believe that? I was like, but you asked for this. And so here's the problem that we face. And I think my customer is like an awful lot of customers out there. Visualizations are able to show some very complex relationships that people's data literacy levels won't allow them to understand. And so I thought, man, this is a great use case for my ARIA NLG extension. So, but here's the problem, and here's where I need you, my friend.
Sure.
I went out to my extensions. I drug this in, and here's what I faced. I picked my dimension, so I picked my country shipped to, but you don't let me pick the year as a dimension. I've only got one dimension here, so I couldn't show them insights from complex data like something like this. I just don't know where to go now, man.
You can add multiple dimension, Dalton. Can you add year into a data selection as a dimension?
Like from properties or something?
Yeah, click on add dimension on the properties.
Oh, no way. Like I'm not limited to the fact that the extension only shows me one. I can just.
You can add as many as you want.
No way. So I am so glad oh man, this is so I'm gonna go ahead and add measure now, and I can just pick this. Ooh, and I get all these other properties then, so I can see I've got multiple dimensions. I've got this. This is fantastic. Let me go to the next screen. We're getting ready to show data. And one of the things here, as I added this on the other screen, I mean, I did sleep at Holiday Inn Express, and I figured out how to get descriptive statistics. I'll let you guys decide because I'm kind of a novice. I'm kind of curious. What would these, if I had the right dimensions and measures, what would this variance or this correlation, what would that show me anyway?
Sure, absolutely. I can explain, Dalton. The variance R talks about the two different measures. As an example, you can select, for example, actual sales versus target sales. Now you want to calculate the variance in between actual sales versus target sales. What's the dollar amount number as a delta? Then you can enable that app to use that. If you select two different measures, the variance will be enabled into the add-in. You can select as the check mark. It's going to give you the insight based on the variance. We have
That's great. So things like budgets and actuals or 1 year versus another year, things like that.
That's exactly.
Oh man, because I tell you what, those variances are hard to show people. If I've got
Exactly.
line charts, I got lines that are right side by side and people can't pick them out. That would be amazing. And how about correlations? Like, is that what I would imagine that it's basically telling me, hey, these two seem to be related or seem to be far apart. Is that kind of what it does?
It is exactly the correlation between the products. So let's say in your case, you selected as another dimension as a product. Now you want to see the correlation from one to the another product. So that correlation insights will give you more details from a product perspective or any dimension perspective, which would be a channel or product or country as a third dimension.
Oh
But
man,
you
that's
have a
so cool.
time series too, Dalton. The time series is the variance between a different period of time. So for example, you select a years of data. Now
Okay.
you want to build your insight based on quarters to say, this is my time series, but I like to my insight based on quarter or months. Now the narrative will be changed according to your selection for for time-based analysis.
That that's pretty incredible, Mohammed. And I kind of picked the title show and tell because a lot of times we show all of that kind of data, but people aren't getting those insights. And if we use this extension to tell people what those insights are, I think it'll have an awful lot of impact. Let me go ahead and move forward here because I really need to finish this up for this customer. So I picked next and I'm like, hey, I want to know the important things from that chart. And it gives me my information by year, which I had seen before. That's fantastic. And it tells me there's an outlier and I can see it by the ship to. What I thought was really cool here is it tells me by year and by country, and it ends up finding the needles in that haystack. So let me generate that text. And I'm going to come back to here. And now this is showing me an insight, which I think is very cool about data that's down here that people could miss in the chart. And what I didn't even see looking at these things where I kept seeing it say, Germany's number one, Germany's number one. There came a time around these years where the US passed up Germany in its items sold. And your narrative was able to say, hey, Dalton, ding, 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 go look at this dot that's here in the middle of this very complex chart. Dude, I think this is so fantastic. My customer's going to love it. I can't imagine it could possibly get any better than this. Tell me that this is the most advanced thing in the whole wide world.
Oh, there are many advanced features are available, are offering from ARRIA.
What? It can't be cooler than this, man.
Yeah, they are very, very advanced features. So out of box are limited to a certain things. But if you really want to advance to talk about a lot of different things like a trends, you want to talk about the trends analysis based on a bit between a different period of time. You want to see what are the periods of time are making a significant change in terms of sale.
That would be amazing. Hey, help me make this decision, or because I don't have a quarter. I could have you spend a couple hours teaching me that, or do you have something maybe that you could show just for the sake of time, of course, because naturally I stayed at the Holiday Inn Express. I'm sure I could learn it, but maybe for the sake of visitors, which do you think we should do?
They're a quick way to do things. ARIA custom narrative. ARIA offered a lot of pre-built projects, like based on different criteria, like a trend analysis as one of the example. And I can use one of my Slater project to load it up in an Aria Studio, link back to your data set, and give you the API credentials. You can hook it up in your dashboard and ready to go. You want to try out?
Wait a second. So hang on. So you've got some pre-built accelerations like our accelerator here that would let me kind of jumpstart my data, and then I just have to map it. But you mentioned something that man, I haven't seen, because I just downloaded this extension for free. You're mentioning Aria Studio, and I have no idea what that is, man. Could you possibly show me that? Would you have time to stick around for a few minutes and like show me something?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I can do that. Let me start sharing my screen, Dalton, and give you the idea what is the Aria Studio, and I will explain about the Aria Studio and how to use that quickly.
Cool.
All right, let me start sharing my screen. So Aria Studio is a development platform which offered by Aria, and any custom narrative need to be done. You have to develop the project we call as a project in Aria Studio platform. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly log in into my Aria Studio web application. Once I log in into the web application, I have all the projects are available on my browser. Now I can go and look for the project. So let's one of the example, we use that one of the Slater project, like for example, trend analysis. Here you go. So the trend analysis, this is the Aria Studio platform. So Aria Studio is a pre-built project. Everything is ready to go. According to the data set, Dalton will be providing to me to say, these are the name of the dimensions, and this is a name of the measure. I simply come back here, just change like a small modifications into my existing project. Let me show you, how does it look like? Into my variables, I have actual sales as a column name. And also I can change that column name to the same measures what Dalton is using in his data set. Once I do that change, then I can come back into my compose, and I can provide that information here to measure name, report type, and then also I can provide the other information if there's any date element associated to that. Once I make that change, now can I simply run the project and I can see my trend analysis based on the actual sales. So I can see between the given data set, January 2013 and December 2019, between that time frame, the actual sales increased up to this dollar amount from that range to that range. Now, in bullet points, it's giving me most significant period between those 3 years of data. So there are few months within those period of data, like September to October. Now I can see there's a huge change in terms of actual sales. Now the narrative, it's giving me all the information by rose sharply by this amount, $8.8 million from 8 to $17 million. So means the big change from, it's a big delta from 1 month to another period. So that something intelligently picked up from the underlying data this period of time is very important to know from a consumer perspective. It's called a trend analysis. So Dalton, do you want to try out in your app quickly? I can set it up for you, and then you can apply. I will give you all the API credentials. You can load it up in your dashboard and see what kind of a trend you're going to get.
Hey, that would be really cool. I would love to do that. Before you jump though, can you show me that, like the script you had again? Like what language is that?
Absolutely, I can speak about it. This is the ARIA proprietary language. It's called ATL, Articulate Text Language. It's pretty easy to use. It's a syntax-based calculations like a scripting. You're going to do the coding right in the studio. And ARIA is offering a lot of different functions. So let's give a shot here for all these pre-built functions. Let's focus on the language functions. ARIA is offering a number of language functions where you can provide the data and let the system to pick the right word for you. So for example, you want to use the inflect verb. So you're providing the calculated numbers when you want to talk about the present and the past. You can use the inflect verbs, or you want to convert like a numbers, num to words. So let's say you're providing like $1,738. You want to say as a word. So you can simply use those functions and apply those changes right on your screen quickly. Choose
That
and
is,
random.
that is so cool. So here's what I'm thinking. I would love to learn this. Do you just have people come over to your house and spend a few days with you and you teach them all this, or like what's my options to get more proficient at this?
Yeah, ARIA has many different training programs. We offer live training programs to the organizations as a group training programs. And also we give them into our process to start working on your project. Our sales engineering team working with you very closely to teach you how to get started. So the way we work, the way I work in my team. So my team coordinating with our client to understanding their requirements. Once we understand the requirements and we take small examples from their requirements and build the project for them to get them started quickly. And plus, ARIA within the tool has Quick Start. Quick Start giving you a lot of different set of tutorials. Once you click on the guided tutorials, ARIA have all these offerings here to to give you the training how to use the ARIA product. So ARIA offering two different type of projects, JSON-based type tutorials or table-based type tutorials. You can go through the tutorials, you can get started very quickly. Any assistant would need it, SC team able to help you to guide you through how can you get started quickly as possible.
Oh my gosh, that is so cool. That is so cool. So do you have any really good examples you could show me while you're already sharing your screen? Because I think I get it. We would identify the data sets and we could custom build some code using your ATL scripting. What would that look like as a good use case inside of Qlik Sense?
Absolutely. I can show you one of the good showcase project we built for sales performance analytics. Let me start sharing my screen to show you the performance analytics project.
Okay. Ooh, I've seen bar charts with stuff before, and it looks like you got my situation. I've got one dimension, and I've got time, and people whining. Yeah, my thing looked really cool. I found an insight. What is that on the left, though?
Yeah, that's the ARIA add-in custom narrative. And let me expand the screen, and I'm going to walk you through what exactly it's being done here. Wow. So into this information, so we have a sales transaction data across many different dimensions. As an example, like we have country, product, and market, and we have a date dimension, and also we have actual sales, target sales, profit, and so on. Within that data set, my client is wondering to know what my top countries are actually contributing in a sales in dynamic in the last 2 months of the data. So I am providing about 5 years of data to ARIA, but ARIA dynamically picking the last 2 months with the given data set, which is November to December 2019. Now it's giving me across all the countries in the ascending order, in the descending order in terms of sale. So there's a $4 million increase in Ireland as a top contributor. Within that country, you could see the drivers actually driving the sale within that country dynamically. It's giving you a number of the countries, and also it's giving you the number of the products. Within that information, it's giving you the insight. So you see the other country, like a Russia. So there is no like a static number of products is going to show up. It's going to dynamically show up based on the standard deviation. So I use the standard deviation. I would like to see what are the ones are really contributing in revenue, in terms of revenue, to increase the sale. So you could see the information. Russia is more, I think, important to know, because there are so many things are showing up here in Russia. Let's read about it. Russia, it's about 234% increase. Wow, was it due to Raptor is a product and Razer? Now there's a huge increase in terms of sale within these two products, which is more than 1,000%. That's why it's giving a lot of information here within Russia. But let me talk about here at the bottom, another requirement. My other requirement was they want to see the actual sales, not the variance, the last month of the period, which is 2019 December. Within that, client need to know the trends. Means I am providing 5 years of data, but within that 5 years data, I need to know what are the most significant months within each period of time are making a huge change in terms of sale. That's how you could see the trends. Everything is controlled as a custom narrative. In the studio, you can add as much as information you want to know about the insight in regards to anything, whatever the business need would be. So here we are with the sales performance analytics.
Dude, that is pretty incredible. I'm guessing that's going to take me more than 5 minutes to learn your scripting to be able to do. If a company wanted something that complex while developers are getting trained, do you guys offer a service where they could get you to build something like this, starting with one of your acceleration templates? Can they pay you to kind of jumpstart their journey down this narrative road?
Absolutely. ARRIA also providing professional services. So any customer would like ARRIA to build their first project. That's how we can train their or their IT developers to understand how the technology works, and they can start building their other project. ARRIA provide the professional services.
That's fantastic, man. Now that's for others, but as a friend, you've already built some custom narratives for me for my application so that I look like a genius in front of my customers, right?
That's correct.
Now, you've got your application. Once you've built things in the studio, custom for me as a close personal friend, how would I get them into my application?
Oh, yeah, that's very easy to configure, Dalton. Would you mind to start sharing your screen and show me the settings, and I will provide you the API credentials. You simply just add that credentials in there and run the project.
Okay, hey, go ahead and email those to me right away.
Sure, I am emailing you.
Oh, fantastic. Hey, I've got those now. And I'm going to share my screen again now. So you tell me if I've done this right. So I created two, since you gave me two custom projects. And I went through and I've picked dimensions and measures that you told me I should pick. And I've put the URL link, and I pasted these gigantic codes in here because there's no way I'm retyping these, Mohammed. And I want to make sure I don't mess this up. Do I just now press generate text for each of these like I would if I had just picked dimensions and measures for the out of the box version?
Yeah, please go for it, Dalton. I think all set now. Everything looks
I'm so
great
nervous.
here.
I'm ready to look good here. I'm ready to look good. Let's
cross your fingers. Here you go.
So it looks like you, oh my gosh, you gave me a trend that's going to break these things down. Oh, this is so cool. Ooh, a drill down analysis. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. Dude, that really can't get much easier. You've basically gone through and done the trending and the drill down that you had as a custom. You've built it for me. I paste in the code from the studio. Now, once I become an expert, like in the next 5 minutes from, consuming all the videos and all the tutorials and reading everything, I've now got this. could I just go out to the studio now with this project and like start editing it?
Yeah, absolutely. If you click on Open with Studio, and I
Okay.
remember I share a project with you, and you publish that project from Aria Studio. Now you can
Okay.
access that project under your credentials, and you can come here. Here you go, trend analysis and drill down.
Oh, they're right there for me. Oh, this is so cool. Let me see what you. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I got it. Hey, man, this is absolutely fantastic. I'm going to be digging in, but we need to probably wrap up for the day. You know, for the audience, you know, those who might be crazy enough to stick around and watch this kind of thing. Um, I want to make sure that everybody understands, if you want to use ARIA NLG in your applications, all you need to go to is developer.qlik.com/garden. Just go to our garden, search for NLG, and you're going to find this extension. You can install this extension for Qlik Sense Desktop, for Qlik Sense Enterprise on Windows, or for Qlik Sense Enterprise SaaS. If you're going to use it in SaaS, there are some security features you have to enable through our content security policy that some guy named Dalton was kind enough to already post out there for you. And you'll be able to use this. Now, let's make sure that everybody understands what they can install. They can get for free all the things that I showed. They can get for free. They do need to pay for access to the studio to build the custom narratives. Is that correct, Mohammed?
That's a correct statement.
That's fantastic. I'm going to wrap it up from my end with this one statement. It's not really about the data. It never has been. It never will be. It's about whether your users can consume that data or not. Data literacy is a big thing, and for some people that could be vague. I hope my grid plot demonstrated what data literacy really means. If people can only consume bar charts and single dimensions and single measures, that's where they're at. They want more, but they can't necessarily consume more. When you get to that point in your visualizations that you need to tell a story that people might not be able to read, that's where ARIA NLG really comes into play. Am I right, Mohammed?
Absolutely right.
Any final thoughts or closing words you'd like to share with the audience?
The NLG natural language generation, as you just described, Dalton, to getting a quick insight in your underlying data. When you're dealing with a lot of different multiple dimensions and the measures, it's pretty challenging for an analyst to consume the data and build some diagnostic analysis to understand what's going on and why it's going on. That's what the ARIA comes in play, and giving you the correct insights based on the underlying data and giving you some action items. What's the next step you have to do?
That is fantastic. Mohammed, I can't thank you enough for your time. And I promise you, if I show those custom narratives that you did for me, your close personal friend, and I make $1 jillion, I will be sure to call you from my private island somewhere, and I'll let you know thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, everybody.
Have a great day, everyone.